What's going on, my exotic family? It's your boy Dre. Welcome back to another video. So today's video, I'm actually going to talk to you about the downside of keeping so many reptiles. I know there's so many videos out there where we're posting content about how great it is to keep, reptiles and everything like that. But I'm going to speak more so as a keeper who has a larger collection. I know 18 snakes isn't a lot to most people, but the majority of my snakes will get pretty big. So I wanted to make this video because there's a lot of people that ask me questions and they're building their collections, and I just kind of want to give you guys a snapshot of what you may have to look forward to in the future, as well as what to expect, because it's not for everybody, so stay tuned. All right, everybody, so welcome back to the video. And before we get started, I just want to throw in there, this is not a complaining video. This is not me complaining about what I have to do because it was my choice to have so many reptiles. As you guys know, I just recently bought a few snakes. So this is not me complaining. This is me just being real with you guys, because we have people joining the reptile community every day, all the time, and they're wondering. So as people like myself get more experience, yes, I will gladly share the knowledge and my experience with you, so the people that come after me, no matter how old you are or where you come from or what your background is, the people that are just getting into it can reference something and have some type of understanding on what to expect. So back to the video. So I wanted to pull Kato out for this video, my big blood boy, looking good. And I'll start off with the first thing. Keeping a big collection of reptiles, or just keeping multiple species, keeping multiple reptiles period, is very expensive. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know, when I make my content on Instagram and everything looks fun, and which it is, but again, from a different perspective, it does cost money to keep everyone healthy, to provide everyone with food and bedding and everything. So it does cost money. So that's the first thing. So yes, I do, I'm a content creator, so I make a little money from Instagram and YouTube. However, I still work a full-time job. So that should tell you something. I'm not making that much to where I'm still working a full-time job. So it definitely does get pricey. Having so many animals, I have to feed all of them, obviously, and you guys know rats are not cheap. I feed frozen, and I buy in bulk, and I try to buy in advance, and usually I buy a little more than I need to. But the bigger your snakes grow, the more they're going to eat, so they're going to need bigger food items, and those bigger food items are going to cost a lot more. So yes, it is very time consuming. Also, for those of you that keep multiple lizards, or anything like that, and they need the specialized lighting, and even these guys, with UVB, heat bulbs, radiant heat panels, heat mats, thermostats, whatever you use, everything costs money. The enclosures, the racks cost money, everything costs money. So again, I'm up to 18 snakes. So yes, it is very, very expensive to keep these guys. So number two, as you guys would expect, having a large collection, not only will it be expensive, but it will be very, very time consuming, because you have to care for everyone, and having multiple species, everyone's care needs or requirements and husbandry is going to be a little bit different. So I have to make sure that I am attentive to that for each animal that I have, to make sure that everyone is getting exactly what they need, so I can make sure that everyone is staying healthy and happy, and they can have a long life with me. So it's very time consuming. It's cleaning. As you guys, I do a lot of content on Instagram with time lapses of me doing cage cleanings, or just bedding changes, or water changes. Okay, Kato. Just everything like that. Bleaching their hides, bleaching their water bowls, scrubbing and bleaching down tubs, the whole nine. It does take some time. Okay, sorry about that. The whole nine, it does take a lot of time. So keep that in mind. And again, I do this all by myself. So luckily, I will say working from home does help, because I'm able to kind of multitask and do more than one thing at the same time. But again, it still does take up a lot of time. I spend hours here making sure everyone is, you know, properly taken care of. And the crazy part is, that's when I make my content, is when I'm cleaning enclosures and doing my maintenance and husbandry checks, is because it takes so long for me to get that done. If I were to wait to get done with everything and then make my content, I would never make content, because it does take a while. So multitasking does help, and just being able to kind of, you know, take a break in the middle of it to take a quick picture, make a quick video, and things like that, it definitely does help. But it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, again, especially when you're doing it by yourself. I mean, going back to the expensive things, I also spend a lot of money on gloves. A lot of people ask me why I use gloves. When you have one of these guys who doesn't poop very often, and when they do poop, they poop. I'm not picking that up by hand, so they're not gloves that protect me from being bit. You guys see me get bit multiple times. It's not gonna help with that. So those are my cleaning gloves, the black gloves that you guys see me wear. Those are my cleaning gloves. So I try to keep those on hand, which I actually have to get some more today. But I try to keep those on hand because they come in handy when I'm doing cage cleanings. And then also, I change them in between cages. So I'm going through quite a bit because I try to keep everything sterile. I don't want to cross-contaminate anything. So everything is expensive and time-consuming. I just wanted to throw those first two out there. Again, I'm not trying to scare anybody. Again, I'm not complaining about it, because again, this is what I choose to do. I'm not stopping. I'm gonna keep going until I can't go anymore, or until I'm in the dirt. So definitely those first two. Number 3 is gonna be, they take up a lot of space. Now, this may not be true for everybody. If you're keeping, you know, something small, let's say maybe you know, geckos or dart frogs or anything like that, they're gonna take up some space. But when you have multiple snakes that get 6 foot, 10, 12 foot plus, they're gonna take up quite a bit of space, and it's something to consider when acquiring snakes. So the reason I keep getting snakes is because I'm preparing, number 1, for upgrades. Number 2, I'm still working on the moving process, which hopefully soon is coming to an end. So we're working on that. But when preparing to get snakes, I have to keep in mind that I have to make sure that I can keep them somewhere where all of their enclosures are going to fit. So those of you that don't know, where I'm at is my brother's pet store. My snakes are staying here. Once I move, my snakes will be moved out of here and coming back with me. So they will not be here. And for those of you asking, video coming soon on the store, I promise. He actually just wants to get a few more things done, so I'm on his time. You know, I can't rush the owner, so I'm on his time, and we will go from there. But again, gotta have space for these guys, because you know, I keep majority of my snakes in a rack, but that is not their final home. I do like racks as a means to establish an animal and to grow them out, but everyone is getting PVCs here very, very soon. So yeah, so that's gonna take up a lot of space. And again, a lot of people don't always have that space, so that's why you have to be mindful when acquiring snakes. That way you don't have to worry about having to get rid of it down the line or anything like that, because they don't grow slow. Depending on what you get. I mean, if we're talking a boa, they're gonna need some space, but not like a berm or a retic or African rock or anything like that. But they'll still take up a lot of space. But again, if you have multiple boas who need a lot of space, then yeah, you're gonna probably run into some issues. So keep that in mind. Alrighty, everybody. And lastly, my favorite one, because I deal with it a lot, you will face a lot of criticism and scrutiny. I deal with it a lot just because of the type of animals I choose to keep. You know, it's, what are you gonna do with it when it gets big? You can't possibly keep that when it gets older, and blah, 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 and whatever. The thing about content creating that I enjoy is I control the content that I put out. Meaning, you guys only see what I allow you to see. So when someone says things like they don't know what I got going on over here, they don't know what I'm about to do, and that's fine, because I'm okay with not having to express or explain myself to everybody, especially people that I don't know or I don't care for, or just people that have no meaning to me. I don't care. People are going to have their opinions about you and what you're doing all the time, and when you know what you're trying to do, where you're trying to get, you can't let people steer you off your path. And I'm not trying to get all motivational or anything like that, but it does happen. People will, you know, if you make, you know, a YouTube video, it happens to me a lot. You make a YouTube video, you will have people that literally have nothing better to do, so they get on there just to argue a point with you in hopes of you arguing back with them and giving them some time. It's just not that deep. So that's probably one of the biggest things you'll deal with, at least on social media, which is why I understand why a lot of people don't like to deal with it. But I don't mind. I enjoy being on social media. I don't let the negative aspects of it stop me from doing what I like to do on my day-to-day. So it is what it is. But again, I have, you know, the Gila monster, the bearded lizard, and a dwarf caiman. Those 3 animals alone, I get crazy questions about. A retic, a berm, you know, a red tail, an anaconda, I get questions about them as well. What are you gonna do when they get bigger? You're not gonna have any room. Listen, you don't know what I'm gonna have. If you've never met me, you've never even been to Ohio. You've never been to anywhere. So gotta be able to deal with that as well. And honestly, we deal with enough criticism from non-reptile keepers about why we keep these animals and why we do the things we do. So the crazy part is that I feel like most reptile keepers should understand not everybody's going to agree with you, and you don't have to like everyone's, you know, perception or everyone's opinion. That's fine. You don't have to like it, but I also don't have to agree with what you're saying. So there's too many people basically that feel like they have the right to question what you're doing. I'll ignore the hell out of you. So again, if you are growing a collection, or if you're trying to get into reptiles and you know eventually you want a big collection, just these are things to keep in mind, things you eventually will have to deal with. Even if you don't deal with it directly, it's better to know it than not to know it, so you're not blindsided. So I hope this helps somebody, even if it's just one person. This is just kind of like a video that's been on my mind, and I wanted to get it out there for you guys. So drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of this video. If you guys ever dealt with any of the, you know, I'm sure you guys know it's expensive and it is time consuming. Even if you have just one reptile, depending on what you have, I mean, it's definitely gonna still be time consuming. But drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. I appreciate you guys for stopping by watching. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you aren't subscribed yet. It means a lot to me and I greatly appreciate it. Follow me on Instagram at DW Exotics for daily updates of all of my animals. And as always, stay exotic.